Ashen remains, also known as spirit ashes, contain ghostly echoes of fallen beings, unreturned to the Erdtree. Once collected, they can be summoned via the spirit calling bell given to us by Rani at the beginning of the game. Their descriptions provide interesting pieces of lore, which often give us extra context about historical events, factions, and characters. In this new video series, we'll explore some of their stories and see what we can learn from them. Let's dive in. Throughout our journey, we find the ashen remains of common soldiers, which provide context about their factions. For instance, we learn that soldiers of Godrick are remnants of a larger army that fled the capital. This event likely refers to the first defense of Leyndell, a conflict which happened much earlier in the Shattering era. Back then, the realm was governed by the Sovereign Alliance, a royal council of the demigods, who presumably governed together in Marika's absence. This alliance is said to have rotted from within, probably due to inner conflict between the goddess's children. Although we don't know the exact circumstances of this conflict, a credible theory is that it was sparked by Godrick attempting to press his claim to the throne, perhaps by rousing his followers to take up arms and sow discord in the capital. This short-lived uprising was shattered, causing Godrick and his rebels to flee the capital and head south to Stormvale. After such a resounding defeat, Godrick may have held a grudge against these men, who proved too weak to press his claim. Thus, they were sent south to occupy Limgrave, while stronger mercenaries were hired to protect Stormvale Castle. Speaking of mercenaries, the band of soldiers known as the Cuckoos were hired by the Academy. The sorcerers of Raya Lucaria gave these men free rein to wage war against the Carians, who were considerably weakened after Radahnn's departure. Without a higher authority to rein them in, the Cuckoos became known for their rapacious ways, suggesting they hold little regard for the laws of the Golden Order. Perhaps some of these men were bandits, who found an opportunity to pillage under the noble banner of the Academy. The Leyndell soldier ashes description emphasizes their propensity for defensive tactics. During the Shattering Wars, they were the metaphorical ramparts that fortified the capital. Unlike the armies of demigods who sought to claim power, these men mostly led defensive battles, making use of the capital's formidable walls to their advantage. Beyond the city, though, their track record isn't quite so glorious. When they were on the attacking side against Rykard's faction, they sustained major casualties and proved unable to capture the Volcano Manor. Perhaps their defensive victories made them complacent, causing them to use suboptimal tactics, ill-suited for an offensive siege. The spirits of Redmane soldiers are particularly aggressive, seeking enemies to fight the moment they're summoned. This unique behavior highlights their bravery in battle and their reputation as expert warriors. Under Radahn's leadership, the Redmane clan evidently fostered such qualities, cultivating a sense of unity through common values, like honor and martial prowess. It is likely thanks to this martial spirit that they managed to survive in Caelid, despite the devastation of scarlet rot. Soldiers of the Haligtree carry a sacred light within them, which can be detonated to implode. In doing so, they carry a bitter hope that these flashes of light could guide Miquella's return to the Haligtree. Such willingness to discard their lives for a flimsy hope goes much beyond typical bonds of loyalty to a liege lord, and can probably be attributed to Miquella's enchantment ability. In Shadow of the Erdtree, we witness firsthand this ability to incite adoration in the hearts of others. Based on their behavior, Haligtree soldiers were also charmed in such a way, bound into fanatical devotion. Within the walking mausoleums of the lands between, headless bodies of demigods were laid to rest. They are guarded by spirits of mausoleum soldiers, restlessly patrolling in their vicinity. We don't know much about their origins, though thanks to their ashes description, we learn that they severed their own heads so they could follow their masters in death. In doing so, they denied themselves the sacred rite of Erdtree burial, suggesting they were compelled by a profound sense of duty to their fallen lords. When Messmer invaded the Land of Shadow, he was in command of a massive army, comprised of many knights and soldiers. Over time, many of them lost faith in the Golden Order and the Queen that abandoned them, which eventually caused revolts and desertion. Dissidents were jailed and punished at the Fort of Reprimand, a penal stronghold south of Muorth Highway. The spirit ashes of Messmer soldiers belonged to the battalion garrisoned here. These men were considered ignoble, likely due to the punishments they inflicted to traitors. Thus, they were buried away from the Shadow Tree's light, denied from its holiness in their final rest. In order to match Radahn's considerable power, Malenia unleashed the scarlet rot within her, an act that had devastating consequences, for her included. It left her injured and unconscious, presumably at the spot where her scarlet bloom flourished. With the Haligtree's strongest warrior no longer in any state to fight, one of the surviving Cleanrot Knights named Finlay took on the heroic task of rescuing her. She found her slumbering body and carried her away from the site of the battle, while the other Cleanrot Knights remained behind, perhaps to cover their escape. Alone, Finlay traveled north with Malenia in tow, and it's said that she fended off all manner of foes along the way. These likely included Godrick's forces, seeking an opportunity for revenge, as well as several other factions and creatures who saw them as vulnerable prey. In the end, they managed to make it back to the Haligtree against all odds. As a way to honor this heroic feat, Finlay was laid to rest in Elfael, near a gazebo monument that might be dedicated to her. Her room is guarded at all times, and a Cleanrot Knight fiercely protects her ashen remains, honoring the most famous member of their order. By rescuing Malenia, Finlay arguably altered the course of history, making her one of the most significant characters of all spirit summons. If you enjoy my content, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.